Dick gaat het gesprek leiden. Als u het vervelend vindt om uw vragen in het Engels te stellen, dan kunt u hem in het Nederlands stellen, dan zal hij hem vertalen. U kunt aangeven aan wie u de vraag stelt. Als u een algemene vraag heeft, dan zal Dick vragen aan een van de gasten om daar antwoord op te geven. Zal ik met de microfoon de zaal ingaan of lukt dat zonder?
We hebben die nog, misschien handig.
Ik probeer te lopen met die microfoon.
Ja, ik denk dat we hier wel een microfoon nodig hebben. Hè? Dus, dat was in het begin ook zo. I'll be the moderator. And also if people put questions in Dutch, I will translate them to English, not to Arabic. Dus je kunt natuurlijk gewoon goed aangeven aan wie u de vragen wil stellen. Het is natuurlijk heel uniek dat we gewoon 4 Syriërs hebben, jonge Syriërs. Met hun eigen ervaringen vanuit Syrië, maar ook als vluchteling. Dus als u een vraag voor mij heeft, kunt u die beter voor later bewaren. Dus ik heb iets ingeleid, maar ik denk dat nu de floor is to them. Dus er is een microfoon aanwezig daar. Ja, dus ik nodig u gewoon uit om vragen te stellen.
I have a question for you and maybe also for you. I'm curious about the marriage. You told the perfect story, yeah, if they like each other. But what happens if they don't like each other? What happens then with the family and everything? When they meet, when the mother...
The second point that you say, when the young man meet the girl, well, they didn't say anything out of courtesy. They don't talk about anything. They just went home. And usually, the family of the girl wait for a phone call from the parents of the young man. If that phone call didn't happen, that means something went wrong. They didn't like her or something. It's like a regular date. When the nice woman wait for the phone call from the man she dated the first time. Exactly the same.
She can refuse also. Not just
exactly.
Of course.
Or she can refuse and just say no. And then the families has to contact each other and say, she didn't like this man. And with no reason. She just didn't like it. So, yeah.
My sister once refused a man because he didn't wear matched socks with his shirt.
Or because he was bald. Sorry.
Maybe also, both you mentioned divorce, or what about divorces? Because there's quite a bit of divorces in Syria, as in the Middle East in general. Traditionally more than in the Netherlands. Now in the Netherlands we divorce much more, but that's very recent. So what happens in case of divorce, and how problematic can that be?
Sure, in Syria the law, it's 90% Islamic law. So for that, the law of divorce, age-related, what Islam says. About divorce, we have to read first the history, before Islam, how people were divorcing. Before Islam, each man, when he gets married with any girl, he was divorce her, and to tease her what he wanted to do, back her again, and then marry her again, divorce again, unlimited times. When Islam came, which is a big problem, it's like a slave of wife actually, Islam says you have just 3 times to divorce, and between 2 times of divorcing, you have just 3 months to bring her back. And actually it's so easy. Just by divorcing, if a man say, or a woman also, she can ask divorce, sure, otherwise. So he just say, I divorced you in the past tense, I divorced you 3 times, then okay, she can go. So it's so easy. But because some Muslims starting to be not so much polite with wives, maybe they will don't give her her rights about money or house maybe or something, then they have to write the divorce in the court, you know, في المحكمة عليهم أن يسجلوها في المحكمة, like that.
Okay, yeah, you told us about Muslims, how they are divorcing. However, there are some Christians, they are divorcing, but by the court, and they don't depend on Islamic rules. Yeah. So it's 90% Islamic rules. However, there are something special for Christian. Yeah, just to make the point clear. Yeah, liberal.
They have their freedom. Christians have their freedom about the way how they divorce each other.
Okay, there was a question over there.
One of the comparison items in the presentation of Mohammed, I think, was raising children. You didn't say anything about it. I'm curious about it.
Well, for me, it wasn't fair to talk about it. I don't have children yet.
Okay.
That's why. And when I mentioned that earlier in other presentation on Red Pout University, I mentioned in, let's say, in other domain, because we were talking back then about that one of the important tools for raising children in Syria is what we call gentle hitting. That's not allowed, and you have different tools to raise him and teach him the right from wrong, what's forbidden and what's not. In Syria, we use this tool, gentle hitting, a kind of hitting that don't lift a mark, that won't hurt him, that but just to know that this thing is forbidden. Just that. This is the only difference between the two cultures. The both cultures want their child to be successful, smart, have a wonderful life, and they try to prepare them to be like that. That's why I skipped this point, because I didn't find a big difference in it.
What would be the ideal number of children? Because we sometimes in the net think, well, 2 to 3, some people have 5 or 6, but these are the rare examples. I come from a family of 5, but none of my family has more than 2 children. Is there an idea of the number of children in Syria, and is that changing?
I think, and maybe you can also add your points of view, it depends if it is rural or urban, because rural, they have to get lots of children to manage the lands, the farmers. But if it is urban, it is of course less, but probably, so I came from a 2 girls and 2 sons, so I think 4 to 6 probably. What do you think?
Well, the new generation prefer the number 2 to 3, 4 tops. The older generation, let's say the 70s and the 80th generation, the golden number was 5. Before that, in the 60s, 5 to 6. But even statistically, the number of deliveries in Syria was down starting 2008 till 2011, before the war. So I think the new generation, you can say 3.
And what about the eldest son? Does he have a special? Is one of you the eldest son? No. And is there a special position for or is that traditional?
Yeah, this question is philosophy actually. It's nice actually. No one mean to treat his first son or his first daughter better than else. But for example, when you buy a new car, you will treat with this car more than after like 1 year, 2 years. You know, the second one maybe you will have more experience. Maybe you will not care about wash it. You know, so this is something not about that we have a law that you have to care about. It's just like when I have the first son, the people in the street they will call me like Abu Abdullah, Abu Yaqub, Abu George. It's the father of, you know, father fun. So something like that. So it's not that special. It's something philosophy, psychology, that anything new, you always care about it more, maybe. And then maybe you get bored or tired. I don't know, you know, something like that. And And sure, daughter, I think in Syrian family, it's something always better than boys because, for example, yeah, actually, for example, my father, for example, Murhaf, this is for you, like money for per month. It was 25 lira. It's about $0.25 actually. I was maybe in middle school, and I surprised my sister 50 Syrian lira. Why? Because she's your sister. So like that, yeah.
Is one of you an eldest daughter?
Yeah, she is.
So the woman that I am coaching fled from Syria to Lebanon, and she was a widow there, and she met a new boyfriend, and they wanted to marry. So they married according to the Islamic law with the imam, but then they wanted to confirm this marriage according to the civil law. So he went back to Syria with a letter. She mandated a lawyer to marry him in Syria. So the marriage would take place for the law, the civic law, without her. Is that normal? Can you marry for the civic law?
Is there a civic marriage in Syria?
There isn't civil marriage in Syria, no. No, so two religions, they can't marry, or no. But your question is, if the lady is not in the law, in the court, so somebody can replace her. So she can authorize somebody to
authorize a lawyer in Syria.
Yeah.
And then the Syrian government refused the marriage.
Refused?
Yeah, to cooperate. Refused to cooperate to subscribe for the civil law, the marriage.
You mean that the judge wanted to hear the approval from her tongue?
No idea. No idea.
Yeah, I think by law, if you authorized the attorney to do your law things, you can do it. But maybe in this particular case, the judge have some doubts, so he wanted to hear it from her mouth. Yeah, maybe the man forced her. Maybe there was something suspicious. So that act was actually to protect the woman.
So it is not normal that you can marry without you being there as a woman.
It can happen.
There is a man. He married his daughter to let's say to his